we got a video to go over, and this one's called Game Developers versus DEI. My experience with DEI in the gaming industry. I've never heard of this guy until you guys recommended this video. Just transparency. Again, this person is called, what is it? Saberpath. That's the name of this channel, Saberpath. And I'm going to link the video, obviously, in the chat once we are done reacting to it, so that if you guys enjoyed it, you could potentially go check it out, see what he has to say. But he made this video, says about game developers versus DEI, and some of what he talks about apparently has to do with a recent article that came out from The Gamer that talked about how over 33% of the gaming industry is women. Now, you guys got to understand, like the comment earlier in the chat, a lot of the women that they're counting in the gaming industry are actually men. They are men pretending to be women. And the funny thing is, they're not even counting all the women that claim to be non-binary, which is hilarious, right? Because it's only women that really claim to be non-binary. Very few, if ever, you're going to see a man actually say to be non-binary. That's only a special title that women give themselves when they don't feel like they're special enough being a woman. So non-binaries don't count, but the men pretending to be women do count, and obviously real women count. So you guys linked this to me multiple times, and you told me to watch it. So here I am, and I'm going to watch it, and let's see what he's got to say. He's not a huge channel. He's only got about 2,700 subs. So let's see what he's got to say. Here we go. In the United States,
an executive order was made to dismantle DEI programs within federal government and encourage private sectors to end these initiatives. I'm a gamer.
His audio is a little low. I apologize. You know what? Here, I'll put subtitles. There we go, so you can read them.
Developer, and I want to share my insights on DEI in the game industry. First, I want to go over an article that covers diversity data collected by
Yoda13 in the chat called him a Timu fucking Cabrutus. I am dead, bro. I am dead. Who? You called him a Timu Cabrutus? A Timu Cabrutus? Oh my God, bro. Be nice, people. Even it's only been 19 seconds. 19 seconds. And you're like, he's a Timu Cabrutus. Wow. Wow.
GDC. After that, I want to share my experience with the DEIB initiative at one of the companies I was working at. For those of you new here, my name is Mustafa. I am the solo developer of the indie studio that I founded, Saberpath. In the past, I've worked at Treyarch during the development of Black Ops 4, and I've worked at Zwift, which is an indoor cycling game. Right now, I develop and publish small games on Steam, such as Nexus Defenders, which is a narrative-driven tower defense game, and Beware Tomorrow, which is currently in development, a first-person stealth horror game. So,
a first-person stealth horror game actually sounds kind of interesting. I'm not going to lie to you, depending on the concept, of course. But anyway.
So first, I want to go over this article real quick that was...
All right, so this is the article he's about to talk about. Let me just read the headline so you guys can get together with it. So it says women and non-binary. Oh, so they did count non-binary devs. Oh my God, bro. I was told they didn't count non-binary devs. So they did count non-binary devs. So it's, bro, they did everything they possibly could to try to make this number as high as possible. They counted men pretending to be women. They counted non-binary devs, and they counted women just so they could barely scrape to 32%. How much of that 32% is actual real women? What, like 10? 10% or something like that, probably? That's crazy. I can't believe they counted non-binary developers. Wait, so what if there's actually a man who claims to be non-binary? Did you put them into that as well? Oh, man. That's great.
Published by thegamer.com very recently. They're announcing survey data that GDC, Game Developers Conference, has compiled. The main takeaways of this article are that...
Oh, the GDC compiled this? Yeah, you already know it's bullshit. If the GDC did the survey, these are the same people that went outside and had a screaming fest for 2 minutes because of the gaming industry and how terrible it was.
Males made 75% of developers in 2020 within the game industry, and in 2024 it dropped down to 66%. but 33% are women plus non-binary. This article also states that around 1/4 of game developers identify as LGBT plus. Another point that it focuses on:
1/4 of developers identify as LGBTQ plus. 1/4. Does that sound natural or normal to you? How is it that 25% of game developers identify as something that is single digits in the United States? That almost seems as if that's forced. That almost seems as if it's coordinated. It almost seems as if it's manufactured.
On is that 43%, so very close to 50% of all game developers between age 18 and 24, so Gen Z who are just coming straight out of college, identify as LGBT plus.
Wow. 50%. 50%, if not higher, of 18 to 24 identify as LGBTQ in the gaming industry. How is that normal? How is that normal? Come on, bro. How is that normal? That is not normal. That is obviously manufactured. This is obviously coordinated. And this is why it's all it's artificial. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Point that this article brings up about women and non-binary people making 32% of the game industry.
Shout out to
I don't want to analyze this number, because once they clumped non-binary with women, the number means nothing. The term non-binary means nothing. It's just like that career fair that happened a couple years ago that was supposed to be for women and non-binary people, and then a bunch of men showed up stating that they are non-binary, so they were allowed in. So the term non-binary means absolutely nothing. You just state it and you are. With the fact that they are clumping
that is an absolute fact. And this is true. Like, when you cannot look at the number and say, oh, okay, 32% of all game developers are women and non-binary, bro. How many of those non-binaries make up the majority? I guarantee you. It just doesn't mean anything.
Non-binary with women, that also means that they are including trans women. It's 32% of women plus men who want to state that there's something other than a man. So this statistic, it means nothing. I'm just going to move on. So the biggest two statistics within this article to point at are these two right here, that 24% of game developers identify as LGBT+.
That's ridiculous.
And then 43% age 18 to 24 identify that as well. The main point that
he skipped an important part. Hold on. Did you read that? He skipped an important part. Look right here. 43% of developers aged between 18 and 24 identify as LGBTQ+. But look at what he skipped. It says with women far more likely to do so. So the majority of the LGBTQ+ identifiers are majority women that are doing it. They're the ones that are holding those titles. He skipped that part.
18 to 24 identify that as well. The main point that we can tie with this is when we look at how many people identify as that in total in the United States. They make up 7.2% of the United States.
That's what I was saying. How the hell is these numbers anywhere between 25 to 50%? How is that possible when the population is 7% or less? Honestly, it's probably less than that. How is that possible? The only way that's possible is if it's one big club and you're not invited. Meaning like it's all artificial. It's manufactured. They want to do this. They want to hire certain people who follow this kind of ideology. They're actively seeking these people in these studios, and they're trying to fill up these studios with these people. This is what DEI hiring practices has brought us. DEI hiring practices has brought us this level of inflated numbers for people who really shouldn't be there because they don't have the experience or the skill, or honestly, even the passion. How many of these developers that claim to be LGBTQ want to talk about more about who they fuck versus what video game they're making? You'll hear them talking about their bedroom antics more than you will ever hear them talk about a video game. It's almost as if they're not passionate about video games. That's how it seems.
But yet they make up 24%, almost a quarter of the entire gaming industry. Nearly 20%, around a fifth of Gen Z identify as this, but almost half of game developers who are within Gen Z identify as this. So you're telling me if you take the 10 of the best and brightest game developers who are Gen Z, 6 of them are straight and 4 of them are LGBT plus. I don't buy that. I feel like that this clearly indicates that these numbers are manufactured due to the hiring processes, checking off boxes.
Yep.
And they're checking off very specific boxes. Someone's race.
It's amazing to see a developer speak like us. You know what I mean? It's just amazing to see this, because even though I know, listen, he worked on AAA games. Now he's an indie developer, whatever. But it's just interesting to see them talk about checking boxes and all this stuff, because how long have we been saying this, man? I've had this channel for over 3 years now. How long have we been saying this? Now, all of a sudden, these developers are catching on. They're like, oh, yeah, all this box checking that's happening and whatnot. It's like, bro, we've been talking about this forever. Forever we've been saying this, but it's okay anyway.
And who they sleep with have nothing to do with whether they should qualify for the job or not. In fact, these statistics and also the fact that the gamer is celebrating this article as if it's a good thing proves that this is an agenda that they've been trying to push. But then once you point out that it's an agenda, they say, what agenda? There is no agenda. We're just trying to get representation and equality.
So, okay, this brings up an interesting thing that I want to mention really fast. So don't you guys find it interesting how we have this information, we have these statistics, and these statistics are supposedly from 2022. So it's probably worse now in 2025, right? You got to imagine it's probably worse. But now that we have these statistics and we know that they are manufacturing employees to be at least 1/4 gay in the gaming industry, it's probably now 50%, let's be real. It makes you wonder about my conspiracy that I've always had about white men, some white men in the gaming industry purposely transing themselves in order to keep their careers that they worked so hard on, because they would otherwise be removed if they wouldn't fit the agenda or provide any kind of DEI to the company that they work for. You know, I've always had that conspiracy. I've always had that mindset. I've always had that thought process. And I've spoke about this for over a year now, where I genuinely believe that there is some white men in the industry that are purposely transing themselves. I'm looking at you, Corin Bush, which, by the way, hold on. I got you. Oh, we got to go down the rabbit hole. We're going to go down the rabbit hole. Hold on. Wait. Guess what year Corin Bush trans themselves? Guess what year that happened? You guys ready for this? Let's go down the rabbit hole. Guess what year that was? Right before 2022. In 2021, they trans themselves. Shocker. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it is a conspiracy that I've had in my mind for the longest time. It really was. It's my conspiracy that I've had for the longest time. I've been saying this for ages. And I've had people push back like, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. Bro, it absolutely is. It absolutely is happening. You got white men transing themselves to keep their careers because they've been in the industry for the longest time and they saw the writing on the wall, and some of them rather keep their careers than keep their dignity. And they're willing to do anything they can to keep their careers. And so some of them saw the opportunity to trans themselves in order to keep their careers. Otherwise, they're going to be out. We've seen so many white men get fired over the last couple of years, specifically because they needed more diversity. So this is how you avoid it. This is how you stop it from happening. Anyway, putting that two together, that was interesting. Anyway, keep going.
Fair opportunities for all game developers. If it's fair, then how come 7% of the population are getting a better chance into the game industry than the other 93%? The final point that I want to cover about this article is that a lot of people are saying this is proof that's not merit-based. Yes, I agree. I'm probably going to be one of the few people that you'll find on here that's going to have a differing opinion. I do agree merit is important. The person's achievements, their skills, their work history, yes, it is very important. But I don't believe that merit is the only factor that is important when hiring somebody. I do believe in hiring based on team synergy, hiring based on rapport, relationship-based hiring. For example, one of my former coworkers, we've worked together for a really long time. If I have an opening on my team and my former coworker has the basic skills for that opening, I would offer him that opening because I know we both work really well together. We have a history together. We've worked well together. I know that he's a hard worker. He might not be the
Oh, I'm covering the dude's face. Hold on. Okay, I'll just go. I'll go to the regular screen then. I was trying to do the bigger screen, but we'll just do this screen. Sorry.
most skilled person. He might not have the best technical skills, but I know we have good synergy. I know he's a trustworthy person. And also,
Yeah, but that's still merit-based hiring though, because you're still hiring someone who you know can do the job, even if they can't necessarily do everything at the super maximum. You just know you work well together and you'll get more work done, even though his skills might be lacking somewhat compared to other people. But it sounds like favoritism, really. It sounds like you rather work with your friends than work with people who can get the job done at the maximum and take the chance at whether or not they might not, synergize with you or not. So, I mean, it's like, I get it. I get it from both sides, but skills can be developed, right? Skills can be developed as long as you have something to work with. The problem is a lot of these DEI hires do not have any skills to work with, and they're being carried by the more experienced developers. The better developers are carrying these people, and that's the issue with a lot of these studios. Look at Ubisoft. That's the problem. Ubisoft is literally struggling because 80% of their developers are garbage. And you know who said that? One of the 20% developers that leaked the information. So it really is. It goes to show, man, you got to have something to work with. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much you know that person. If their skills are bare minimum, you really shouldn't be hiring them. If they got like 90% of the way, you got to develop the other 10. Okay, maybe, since you work so well with them. But if they're at 10% and they're your friend, fuck no, bro. They should not be getting the job. You should be hiring someone way better for the role. See, the problem is that I guarantee you right now, the industry is hiring what I just said, which is people with 0 to 10% skill who happen to be buddy or believe in the proper ideology and push the right message. So as long as you say the right thing and you act the right way, you will get hired even if you are in the 0 to 10%. It doesn't matter, especially if you check off a box. And that's the biggest problem.
Also, I believe that showing the potential to learn skills is
Keep
also
liking the stream,
important.
boys. Like.
While someone might not have the best merit on paper, I don't think merit is always the most important thing. Again, I'm not saying merit is worthless. I'm not saying it is not important. I'm just saying it's not always the most important thing. I joined Zwift back in 2019, and they're an indoor cycling company. Shortly after I joined, they started the DEIB initiative: diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging.
What the fuck is belonging? Isn't inclusion like belong? Why do you got diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging? What is that? What the fuck is that belonging, bro?
The 2020 lockdown started and we were all sent to work from home. We were assigned to start taking these DEIB courses, and these courses were mandatory. This was one course that would educate us about.
Were they mandatory to just the white people, or were they mandatory to everybody? That's what I would be curious to know. Because if it's mandatory just to the white people, we've heard of that before. We've heard people talking about that before. So I wonder, is it just the white people or was it everybody? Maybe he says it. We'll see.
Our internal bias. For example, if we're hiring somebody and the person looks like us, we might be more lenient towards them. But if the person looks a little different, we might be a little bit more strict with the requirements for the position. And we might not hire them for that. And I can't remember if it was this specific course or if it was another course. I recall one of them that I had to watch, which was about the platinum rule. Now, we know the golden rule. The golden rule is to treat others how we want to be treated. And I believe in that rule. Treat people with respect to a degree. Now, the platinum rule, on the other hand, is treat people how they want to be treated. So in this video, we were taught that we're supposed to introduce ourselves with our pronouns and then ask the person, hey, what do you want to be called? What are your preferred pronouns? How do you want to be treated?
Jesus Christ, that sounds like a fucking nightmare. It sounds like a nightmare, bro. You guys are talking about and training on everything other than the damn fucking job. This sounds terrible. Jesus, man. Sometimes I'm glad I don't work in a corporate setting because I couldn't. I would be fighting people all day. I couldn't.
These videos are very frustrating to watch because it is social reprogramming. It is teaching us to act in a different way that is not the norm in our culture or any culture. Hey, thanks for sticking around with the video. I'm going to give a really brief interruption real quick. If you don't want to hear it, you can skip forward a little bit. I have timestamps in all my videos. My next game, Beware Tomorrow, it's been delayed, but it should be coming out in the coming months very soon. It is a first-person stealth horror game, has puzzle elements to it. You are locked in the facility with a deranged man who's hunting you down, and you have to solve puzzles to escape the facility. There's no DEI in the game. You don't have to worry about misgendering anybody. You won't be lectured to pull a barv. And if this game sounds interesting to you...
Oh, Dragon Age is catching strays. Yeah, Dragon Age is catching strays from everybody, bro. Now you got now you got developers who will flat out just reference Dragon Age when they're trying to say, hey, it's not going to be like that game. It's not going to be like that game. All right, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and keep checking this out, although it was pretty fast, so.
Link is in the description below. Wishlist it on Steam, and I'll let you guys know once I have a release date.
Beware Tomorrow. I'm going to wishlist that on Steam right now.
Aside from having these LinkedIn learning courses, we also had these Zoom webinars with the DEIB department. One of these webinars was very lazy. They pulled up this video from YouTube and started playing it. 5 tips on being a better ally. Before I realized these webinars were not mandatory, I was attending these webinars because I thought I was supposed to. One of the earlier webinars, the topic was know your privilege. It was for us to understand that our coworkers...
The moment somebody starts talking about how to be a better ally, first off, comrade, relax yourself. Nobody said I'm trying to be an ally to your fucking social justice cause. And second off, stop being a fucking communist, bitch.
might not have lived as privileged of a life as we have. This webinar literally promoted prejudice. By default, when I look at my coworkers, I assume they are just as educated as me, maybe even more educated, depending on their position. And whatever challenges in life they had, it shouldn't matter because everybody has challenges in their life. As a Muslim, I believe that every single person is tested and challenged.
Oh, he's a Muslim. That explains the accent. Okay, I was getting close. I couldn't quite pinpoint what the accent was, but that makes sense. In terms of, it's like, it doesn't matter what someone's challenge is. At the end of the day, if you got the skill set and you have the ability for the job, you got there just like everybody else. Even if your life was harder than someone else who works there right now, and Emily in her perfect life, it doesn't matter. As long as you guys can do the job and you have the exact same skill set or at least close to it, it doesn't matter.